So I was hoping, Mr. Backpack Beatz, you could bring us back to the youngest Backpack Beatz you can remember being, and walk us through a bit like what it sounded like to be you, the vibes, what your parents was into, the world around you, the technologies, all of that good stuff.
hmm So for sure, I mean, it really goes back. It really goes back to my grandparents, right? So, my grandfather, he's a musician. He's played the saxophone since he was like, shoot, maybe 13, 14.
Okay.
He was in the army. He was in the army. He was in the army band. Played saxophone in the army band, and when he had his kids, he had three. So the one rule in the house, the one rule in his house is that everybody had to play an instrument, right? So my mom played the clarinet, my aunt played the flute, my uncle played the saxophone as well. So I say all that to say that that kind of trickled down into my household also. So little me as far as like what my mom was listening to. I didn't give my mom enough credit. I didn't like it's weird, sometimes you think your parents listen to whack music or something like that,
Absolutely.
when they get older. But so it kind of clouded my vision of kind of the music head that my mom was. Whenever she was an adult, she was in the army. She actually did a lot of time in Germany. So in this, this is early '90s. Whenever you have, you can get CDs. That's all could get or whatever. So I still have my mom's CDs from now. So she has pretty much everything that you can think of from late '80s to at least early mid 2000s. So that was kind of the stuff that we were listening to in the house. A lot of Mary J. Blige, pretty much anything Bad Boy, What else? What else were we listening to, man? Just like a lot of the good neo soul music. Not really a crazy amount of rap. Until maybe I got about 10, 11 that I can distinctly
Right.
remember. But yeah, just a lot of really really good R&B, a lot of good New Jack Swing and different things like that. But it didn't really start taking a hold of me until like 99, 2000, 2001 ish. Um, for some reason, like my mom she doesn't like Kanye, she doesn't like Jay-Z, but for some odd reason, Jay-Z's Blueprint One was just chilling in a cabinet in an abandoned CD case. So I remember going to basketball camp. We had a week basketball camp, and we didn't. This is whenever I had a Walkman, or like a CD man, whatever you want to call it. Trying to fit a CD player into your pocket. You remember that?
Yes,
Um,
yes, I do remember
yeah,
that. Oh my gosh.
exactly. Yeah.
Oh,
So yeah, see, took you back. So I remember that was the only CD that I had. So I would listen to that. I listened to that front to back for an entire week. And that's really what that was like the one project that really just I gravitated towards and
yo,
grabbed
how
a
old were
hold of.
you when you found that? I don't know. How old were you at that point?
So this was like 2002. So I was like 10, 11.
All right, so let's run it
Yeah.
back before you were 10, 11. So let's say the music
Yeah.
didn't captivate you to that point. What kinds of other stuff was you up to as a little one? Was you a dancer with all the music? Was you a dryer? Was you vibing out to different sports and things?
Um Yeah, basketball all day. Basketball, basketball. Like you see the hat, you see the hoodie. Basketball. Like that's been my thing. Since I was at least four. It was basketball and it was inline skating, which is
Hold on,
very
what's
random.
what's inline skating exactly?
So you just skating. So you remember the X Games like in the '90s, like whenever you had like skateboarding, but then you had like skating or like rollerblading.
Oh, say
Yeah,
word.
so
Like rollerblading?
yeah, so, yeah. So we would like
Oh,
I
okay,
was.
okay,
It was
okay,
weird because
right. Yeah, okay. Because I
yeah,
think skating, I think ice. Because I'm up in Canada
yeah,
and shit. So it's my first.
that makes sense.
So
Okay,
you're talking
makes
like the
perfect sense.
roller rinks with like the fucking DJ playing and all
Yeah, all of that. Yeah,
Okay, I did that a couple
yeah.
times. That shit's litty.
Yeah, for sure. I don't do it anymore, but yeah, I did it back in the day for sure.
That's cool though. You were doing all the tricks and shit.
Yeah. I was the only black kid in my neighborhood, so that's just what we were doing. That's what everybody was doing at the time. So if I wanted to go out and not play basketball and find something else to do, that was the thing to do.
When you were a kid though, that's at that point.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
That's really cool, man. Like I think it's cool as like an adult thinking back. I don't know how cool it is to other people.
Yeah, I feel you.
But that's also really impactful, right? Because if you think about it, that's a heavy music environment.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like even whenever I was doing that, like basketball was my thing, skating was my thing. But I was talking about Jay-Z, but the other thing that really, really influenced me. So when I say basketball, right, I played, but then I would also watch like the and one mixtapes and I think the Nautic and like all of that stuff. So it was and one mixtapes, and it was actually Tony Hawk that really got me, really wanting to listen to more hip hop, because I remember I got PlayStation 2 for Christmas. The first game that I played was Tony Hawk 3. So yeah, so basketball and one mixtapes, Tony Hawk. That's what really just gelled me, and really
I wonder
really
how
made me
many
fall in
people
love.
out there got into hip hop specifically because of the Tony Hawk Pro Skater series.
Yeah, exactly, bro. Like it's crazy. Like even when I think about it, even like Tony Hawk 1, just going back and listening to the soundtrack for the games and all that stuff, it's just ridiculous what you come across. You got Most Def, KRS-One, Gangstar, like all of that stuff, and when you're a kid and YouTube isn't out yet or stuff like that, that's really like your only form of getting music if your parents aren't buying it for you.
Yeah, I feel you. And I remember sports games, if I really think about it, was a huge part of it. Like there was a Del the Funky Homo Sapien song that I know I only learned because of video games.
Yeah,
Better wash
exactly.
your ass
Yes,
if
if you
you must. You
must.
better brush your
Exactly.
teeth. I'm like, why do I? And then it gets you curious, right? Because that
Yeah,
song's wild.
exactly.
It's like,
Yeah.
is he really doing a whole track about like
Or else she'll
hygiene?
be funky. I love that song,
It's a
bro.
banger,
Yeah.
but I don't know if it's because I heard it 3,000 times playing
That
Tony
too.
Hawk. I
Hmm.
think Blood Brothers by Papa Roach was on one of these soundtracks.
Yeah.
And like all of these tracks over here, yeah, the Superman track is it?
Yeah.
So here I
On
am
Tony Hawk 1.
doing everything I
Everything
can,
I can.
holding on. Oh my gosh, that brings me
Yeah.
back. Yeah,
Exactly.
for me it was the first two games, but then
Hmm.
my brother could make
Hmm.
money gambling on Tony Hawk scores. I'm
Wow.
talking like he can hold the combo 5-6 minutes past the 2 minute timer
Wow.
religiously.
Yeah.
I don't play
That's
Tony
crazy.
Hawk a lot. When your little brother
Yeah.
murks you so hard that your 50,000 feels small,
Exactly. When you got 50,000 when he's got 50 million. So
that's not hyperbole. That is a regular and it didn't matter the Tony Hawk game. He'd
mhm.
find every hack, everything. He'd break the game. I'm like, how the fuck?
Yeah.
Since he's like
Exactly.
13.
Yeah.
But
He has no strategy guide. He knows what he's doing
yeah. But yeah, that game was wild. I didn't
for
even think
sure.
about that. But that's crazy impactful. Video games and music is something nobody
Yeah.
really brings up, but probably is something that hit all of us of a certain
Hmm.
age.
For sure. For sure.
All right, so you basically get that Jay-Z tape when you 10. How does that like impact you?
Just I heard nothing like that. So I guess going back a little bit, living in my when I was talking about everybody in the household had to play an instrument. I started when I was 6. I played drums and keys. So I would play for our church, and I was the main drummer for our church, and then I was just playing for like our youth choir whenever I was playing keys, and so I was always around that like 3 days a week. If we're practicing, if we're going to church, if we're going somewhere doing something. So you know it's always like Kirk Franklin or like some of these other things that I'm listening to when I'm not listening to my mom's music. So just listening to that, and then like if you're watching BET or MTV or something like that, yeah, you heard H to the Izzo, and stuff like that. So but then like whenever I heard the album, like I didn't know who Just Blaze was. I didn't know who Kanye was at the moment, or as a producer. I didn't know who Kanye was. I didn't know who Knots was or anything like that.
Ooh,
But
that's
I
a good
just knew,
name too.
yeah, exactly. So like whenever I heard that, I was like, I've never heard anything like this in my entire life. Like this is not Lil Romeo. This is great music. You know what I mean? So yeah.
I like that you said that. That's a good comment.
Yeah.
So basically, you get into it from the music point, and I guess you already have that foundational element of playing music at that point. Do you have a desire to be an artist, or is it still like you're a fan of this and you're doing the church thing?
I did. Because, like whenever you're in school, you have, your friends or whatever, it's like, I can rap. So, we'll be on the bus, we'll be throwing out little two-liners and having like a cipher for the most part, just doing that. And then I was like, oh, I have some sort of talent. Let me try it. You know what I mean? So I was already sort of making my own beats, just like recording stuff on a keyboard that I had, just recording stuff on a little keyboard that I had and just making songs. I would make songs for my church and stuff like that. And, I actually used to be in this gospel rap group. Me and a couple of my friends, we were called KFC, and KFC was an acronym, and it meant Kingdom for Christ. So like we would go out around around different parts of Florida. We would go like different parts of Alabama and like stuff in the southern region of the states, and like we would do shows at like different churches and stuff like that. And this is like 13, 14, so when I was like doing this, I was like, oh, I got kind of a knack for this. I can go ahead and try it, So yeah.
No, I appreciate that. That's fucking dope. So tell us more about being in that group. How are y'all making songs? Tell us more about this. How many people be teenage gospel Christian folk out there doing your thing like that?
Yeah, for sure. There was, because this is like 04, 05-ish, right? So there was a time whenever gospel rap was just like a thing. Like it still wasn't like accepted by everybody yet.
This is like the cross movements and shit.
Cross movement, exactly. Yes, this is what I was listening to. Like I was listening to cross movement. I was listening to Lecrae when he just dropped.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Like like people like that. So that was what we were listening to at the time. Like whenever I was out in the streets, I would listen to the radio. But then whenever I was at church, we would listen to, all of that stuff. So whenever it was that time, it was just, we had like a small circle of just like really good artists that were just around the city, or that was around like surrounding states. So, and we were the young guns. Like we were the youngest people doing it. So it was me, one of my other guys named David, and his father was the pastor of one of the churches, and he had like all of the good recording equipment and all that. So we would just go over to the church and just record on Acid Pro and all of that stuff, getting beats. This SoundCloud's not out. I don't know if you remember SoundClick, but
yeah, I do,
bro.
SoundClick, yeah. For the record, SoundClick is still there, and it is
Seriously?
a wide library of free beats just there.
Jeez.
Right now.
Wow.
The same free beats that were there then.
That's crazy. I swear I haven't been on SoundClick in at least 15 years. I can yeah, at least 15 years. So like we would get a couple before I was making beats like for real. We would get beats off of there, and then we would just record in Acid Pro, have a little demo, and then like perform some of these songs out throughout the city. So yeah, it was a dope time for sure.
Yo, is it like Christian events?
Yeah, like we would just go like to different churches and stuff.
Yeah, it's a wild circuit.
Yeah, for sure.
I know that like because I was like involved in the youth group for a minute at one of these churches, and I was a teenager, and they used to like, there'd be like these random Ontario Christian bands that would get these like they'd come through, but they get like venues. It wouldn't be like corny. Yeah. They wouldn't be like full, but they'd still get the venues, and they'd still like be like bigger scale, and you'd pay your $20 and whatever. So it's like I could see how that could be like really huge experience points, learning how to perform and like, and you're all
Yeah,
like young teenagers and stuff, right?
yeah, exactly. I remember I was like 14, 15. We were performing at performing at a local church, and this is when Curtis Blow became like super reformed, and he started making gospel rap music. So we opened up for Curtis Blow, and it was pretty crazy. I didn't get to meet him personally, but like it was super super tight though.
That's still a huge teenage flex. And it's what it is.
Yeah.
It's a big one.